Welcome to CITC 2323. This is the live slide for Lab 4.3, Deploying and Managing IP Address Management. The objectives for the following video will be configuring IPAM. Let's go ahead and begin with exercise 13.2, configuring IPAM. In this exercise, I will configure and enable IPAM so that I can scan and manage IP addresses. Let's go ahead and begin with it. The first thing we'll be doing inside our server 1 is going into our PowerShell. And we'll be typing this command right here that I already have pre-typed because I've got so many previous errors from it. So let's make sure it works. Let's press enter. Okay. Confirm. Yes. Alright. So now that we have that done, we can close out the PowerShell once it's complete, which it should be pretty soon. Okay. Now let's go ahead and close it out. Alright, so back into this, we're going to tools. Let's refresh it. What are we in? Server 1. Let's go into our IPAM. Okay, so now that we're in IPAM, the first thing we'll be doing is selecting step 2, provision the IPAM server. Okay, next. On the select provisioning method page, group policy base is already selected. In the GPO name prefix text box, type out IPAM1 and then next. Apply. When the IPAM is finished provisioning, then we'll close this out. Alright, now that it's successfully been provisioned, we can close it out now. Let's move on to our domain controller real quick. And inside of here, we'll be going into our tools, Active Directory users and computers. Let's expand that. And then from here, we click on the users container. And then we click members of through the IPAM group. So it's right there, double clicking it. Then from here, add, and we just want to add, let's see what's the best way of doing it. You just type it out, enterprise admin, semicolon, event log readers, and then we'll click OK. And that's that. Let's close out users and computers, and we just have to reboot this server, so let's do that. Okay, and now we just have to wait for our directory 1 to finish booting. I'm going to pause it. Once it's done booting, I'll move on to the next step, which will be into server 1. Alright, so now that's done rebooting, let's move on to server 1. Alright, so inside of server 1, we'll click the IPAM overview again, and from here we're going to be selecting configure server discovery, and we'll be clicking add, and then OK, and then from here we'll be doing step 4, start server discovery. So waiting for completion. Just to wait until it's done, and this probably would take about 5-10 minutes. I'll just pause, skip ahead. Alright, so now that step 4 is done, we can move on to the next step. So let's select step 5, select to add servers to manage and verify IPAM access. From here, we see that the server 1 is blocked and the DC is blocked. So let's right click the DC one, edit server, change it specified to managed, and let's make sure that DC, DNet, and DSP is selected, and we'll be selecting OK. And then we'll just be right clicking it, refresh server access. Alright, and now IPAM is unblocked. Let's move on to the next part, for step 6. Retrieve data from managed servers. And this may take a couple minutes to run, so let's just pause it and wait for it to finish. Alright, so now that's done, we'll be going over to Server Manager under IP address space. And actually we'll be selecting IP address blocks. Select it from here. And then once it loads, we're going to tasks, and then add IP address range. And let's just fill this out real quick. 192.168.1.0. Prefix length is 24. And then apply. Should be okay. Address range, yeah, that's okay. Alright then. Now let's click IP address inventory. Okay, and IP address. Let's retrieve address space data for the inventory, and we're just gonna wait for this to complete real quick. Okay, so now that's complete. We'll be going over to monitor manage, DNS, and DHCP. And then we'll be selecting DHCP scopes. Then under monitors and manage, we'll be selecting DNS zone monitoring. And that will conclude our exercise for IPAM installation and configuring. In review of the video we just watched, the main thing we went over for objectives were configuring IPAM, IP address management,